Hi, so if I've never apologized for the quality of my videos, I just want to say I'm sorry. And the reason why I record while driving is because this is literally the only free time I have in my busy, hectic schedule life that I got going on in this season. This is my morning. It's 6:30 p.m. and I am on my way to work, and it's about a 25-minute drive, so that gives me some time to sit and talk to you guys about what's going on in my life. And it's not so much because I feel like I'm important and my life needs to be shared, but also to encourage others that may be possibly going through the same thing as me. Sorry, this sun is horrible, but if you can just hear me without having the good quality picture, really appreciate it. Just hang tight and walk through this with me. So I have been all my life a yes person, meaning I did not know how to say no, or I felt really obligated when somebody asked me to do something. I still do, I'm not gonna lie, but it's something I'm praying and working on. I feel I have this heart to help people. It's just even when I wasn't with the Lord, it was just something I've always done. I wanted to take care of people, help them, even when it meant not taking care of my own responsibilities, even my own children, my own finances, And now I can see where people will literally rob you of your peace, your joy, your finances, and blessings from the Lord, and I think it's very important that we know the difference on what we need to do, when we need to do it, hear directly from the Lord. And I preach this, but I'm in the middle of practicing it, and I'll give you some a little bit of my testimony. Was I was very enabled when it came to my lifestyle. I grew up in poverty, and off welfare, housing, Medicaid, WIC. Everything was just there and free. So that put me into a state of poverty where I felt comfortable and I didn't need to work. I didn't want to work. Like, literally, the housing would pay me money, pay my rent, send me a check to pay my bills when I didn't work. Like, come on, who? This is what Americans want, and I'm over here complaining about it, but I'm seeing both ends, and let me tell you, it's not something to brag about or something to be envious about, because literally I didn't want more than what the government gave me. So when my kids, needed shoes, I couldn't go get the nicer brands, or, if I needed my hair done, I couldn't do it because the government wasn't even going to fund my hair dye. Just my food and, my basic needs. And I kind of feel like the Israelites when they were alone finally and out of slavery, they wanted to go back because it was comfortable. They were being fed and taken care of. And that's really how it is now in today's society, with this free health care, welfare, free housing. You rely on others, yes, but there's really no independence, and there's no room for you to grow and get out of that poverty for you and your family and even generations after that. So that's something the Lord is working on me currently, because no, I'm not 100% off assistance, and most people will never tell a soul this, but I'm not one to brag or to be ashamed, because this is all new to me. I never knew any other way, but the Lord is helping me be financially stable, be reliant on Him and not government. mean, the programs are great. Don't get me wrong. I am for, helping needy families. But when it gets to the point where, we're so enabled we don't want to work, and we're just going to let taxpayers pay our way for life, well, and I see this even in my family that do work and don't get assistance, and they can barely live and make it, and, with childcare. So and they're struggling, and it's like so unfair, it's really unfair. So I believe people that do need it but are actually, showing eagerness and taking the steps to better themselves. But if they're seriously at home smoking weed and drinking and selling their food stamps, which, I can't say I'm not guilty of, that's where that state of mind put me, and that's where I think it's wrong. Anyways, so being enabled, okay, and being the one to always say yes, that has gotten me into a lot of trouble throughout my years of life, when it came to men, when it came to partying, when it came to the bad things, not having that backbone, or I think I've preached on this a little bit in my other videos, but not being able to say no has really caused me a lot of pain, heartache, and I lost out a lot. And not saying don't go help nobody, I think it's important, to know who the Lord wants you to help and when, because sometimes, somebody could be going through a trial, and the Lord needs them to reach out to Him, not so much you paving the way for them, because let me tell you, this is where my little testimony comes in. So I was on drugs, okay, pretty much pushed my kids away because I knew the state of mind I was in, and I loved them, but I didn't want them around it. So it wasn't like I'm gonna love them and just keep them around me, no matter what. It was like, no, I don't want you around this. I know it's bad, but I'm stuck in this addiction. Sorry, I need to drink some of my coffee and wake up. Anyways, so I had an 8-month of just binging and like hit rock bottom, the lowest of lows, things that shouldn't be done, I've done. And I would gladly tell you guys everything, but I don't think it's necessary now. Maybe another video I will just talk about those things, but yeah, let's just say it was bad, to the point where my grandparents, who basically raised me, didn't let me come around anymore. In my mind, I was right, I wanted to be around my kids over there, but my mind wasn't right, and I'm not one to fake the funk. So, there's a lot of closet smokers, people that lie and, try to manipulate people. That's not me. Like, if I'm on drugs, you're going to know I'm on drugs. I'm going to do the drugs in front of you. And not that I'm a badass. It's just, I'm not a closet person. So that's where I'm okay talking about this thing. It's not, it was a big deal, but it's not so much now. So they knew I was getting high. I did it in front of them. It wasn't something I was portraying to be like this perfect person and then, going behind the scenes. No, they knew everything. But I got so bad, on it, and just the people that I had around, and I was just really disrespectful and just wanting my way. And when you're just in it, it's even just being in this world and not with the Lord, you're selfish anyway. So I was having issues with my whole family, so I wasn't basically not allowed, and that was hard because that was the only place I had to go for help when I needed, somewhere to stay, if I needed money, or, babysitter. They're a lot like me, where they can't say no and won't say no. And they don't care how bad you screw them over, as long as they don't see it or they don't hear it. If they're asleep, you rob them blind, they wake up and they didn't see you do it, but they know you did it, they're okay with you still. But because I did it in front of their faces and I was, not behind their back type of deal, they weren't okay with that. And I guess that kind of benefited me, because that's when they said, okay, Felicia, no more, we're not helping you, you're done. And that left me in a state of, I have nobody, I have nothing, I'm on these drugs, what do I do? So there was a day that I had nobody around, nobody to reach out to, I couldn't see my kids, no drugs. I got on my knees and I said, God, take this from me, because I can't take it. So what I'm trying to say is, it's okay to say no. When you love somebody, yes, you want to help them, but sometimes the best way to help them is by telling them no. Not feeding into their bad behavior, addiction, whatever it is. It could be gaming, it could be food, it could be whatever. But if it's getting in the way of their life and their responsibilities, then it's okay, to rebuke them in that. I believe that helped me. That saved my life when my grandparents told me no, because I was so enabled. Because I had nobody else to turn to but God, and come on, that's what He wants. He wants us to get to that breaking point where we only need Him, and He's so quick. That's all He just wants us to ask, and when we do, it's just, it was really a life changer, game changer for just not just me, but for my kids and my family. And let me tell you, everything the devil has stolen, he is replacing a lot. I want to say way more. I can't even express it in words. It's just amazing what he's doing. So yeah, sorry if that's a little bit crazy, kind of all over the place, but I just want to encourage somebody that maybe has a family member struggling with whatever, or maybe you are, and you need to get to a place of just not being enabled or not enabling a loved one, and telling them no. Because I have a family member today that I had to say no to, and that was, not to put them on blast, but one of the hardest things I had to do in my life, because I've always said yes. I've always, opened up my home. But now that I think about it, it's robbing my energy, the little bit of time that I do have with my family. I'm trying to do this healthy lifestyle, and this person is totally on the other end, and they also struggle with addiction, and past their 50s, but they've been enabled, and nobody's told them no. I'm encouraging other family members not to be mean, but to hopefully save their life and reach out to God. That's what I'm praying for, and I'm just hoping I'm making a godly decision. This is something He would want me to do, because I know it's something that I needed in my life. But I don't mean just go do that to everybody and anybody that asks you. No, of course, pray about it, and whatever gives you peace, and you feel like you have peace from the Lord about it, do that, because it is rough, and I'm still having a hard time with it right now, because it's hot outside, no car, no job, no family, and I don't know where they're at, and it's a little bit scary, but I'm praying for them, and I'm just trusting in the Lord that whatever it is, He's got it, because I know mentally I don't, and it just caused me more stress than just saying yes for the moment to feel better, because I said yes, and then picking up the burden of that person's lifestyle. It's rough.